Hello everybody, I hope you're all well. So, we've all got names, haven't we? We all know our name because people often call it out. It could be our friends, it could be our mums, it could be our dads. Some people have more than one name, don't they? You sometimes have a first name and a second name, and sometimes you have other names that people know you by. My name is Sandra, and people I know call me Sandra. But I do have other names as well, like Mrs. Cook. Because I work at school, the children call me Mrs. Cook. I'm also known as Mum. Yes, I get called Mum a lot. And now I'm a nanny, so I'm also hopefully going to be called Nanny when little Hetty can talk. It's good to have a name, and sometimes we're a bit naughty, aren't we? Because if we're watching our favourite television programme, I might have your name called to come and do your homework or go and get your dinner, and you don't listen, do you? Today's story is all about a young man that needed to listen. Today's story is about a young man called Samuel. Samuel was a very special boy. His mum Hannah couldn't have children, so she thought. So she went to the temple and prayed, and she prayed so hard. And one day she was praying, but she was praying without actually speaking the words. Her lips were just moving. Eli, who works at the temple, is the priest. He saw her doing this and was a bit worried about her. So after she'd finished, he went over to speak to her. She reassured him she was okay, just very sad because she hadn't been blessed with children. Eli listened. He laid his hands, said a prayer, and said, "Let's hope God answers." Sure enough, in a little while, Hannah found out that she was having a baby. As promised in the temple, she said that when the baby was born, she would make sure that he served God to say thank you. When Samuel was old enough, Hannah took Samuel back to the temple and met Eli. Eli was now a very old man and he couldn't see very well, so really needed help around the temple. Samuel said goodbye to his mother, knowing that he was going to be staying with Eli and looking out for him and the temple. As they went around their chores every day, Samuel was very reassuring, and it was good for Eli to have somebody around him. At night they went to bed. Samuel said good night to his master, and they lay asleep quietly in the temple. As they were sleeping, Samuel heard his name called out, "Samuel, Samuel." He got up quickly, went over to Eli. Master, are you okay? You called me." "No," Eli said. "It wasn't me. Go back to bed, Samuel." Samuel went back to bed, settled down, and again heard his name called. "Samuel, Samuel." It was very quiet, but he could hear it. I'm here. And he went over again and shook Eli. Eli said, No, it wasn't me. "Samuel, you need to go back to bed and you need to listen because I think it's somebody else talking to you." Samuel went back to bed, laid there a little while, and sure enough, his name was called out. Samuel said, "Yes, I'm here." And he listened very hard because it was God talking to Samuel, not Eli. When Samuel told Eli about this in the morning, Eli was reassured, and the pair of them rejoiced with the fact that Samuel had listened. Sometimes it's really hard, isn't it? We can't see God. He's not around us to see as a person, but you get a feeling that you know he's there. And when you get that feeling, listen, because he does talk to you. Now, we're going to go and make some craft. So I need you to go and get some paper, some scissors, some glue, some colouring pens, and maybe a little bit of help. Take care. See you in a minute. Hello, everybody. Right, now, what we need you to do is I need a piece of card, not too big, about so big, just a white piece of card. And then once you've got your piece of card, I want you to draw a brown edge round the outside. Can you see? Then do a little pillow up the top. And then this is the tricky part, which you might need some help with. I need you to make a hole for you to be able to put your finger through, just below the pillow. Can you see? So there's my finger. All right. And once you've done that, I want you to get a piece of paper. And the piece of paper needs to be the same size as this piece of card. And then what I'd like you to do is, on a piece of paper, you need to draw a picture of somebody that's in bed. Okay, now as you can see, I've actually cut mine in half. When you start out by putting the person at the top, just the top half of their body. Now as you can see, my little picture's got quite sleepy eyes, and then underneath you've got like the duvet cover or the bedding spread. Okay, and then you need to cut it across the middle in half so that it separates. Can you see that? Good. Right, then going back to your little bed frame with the pillow, you need to put some glue down the bottom. All right, so I've done that, and I'll put the bottom half of the bedspread needs to go on the bottom of the bed, like so. Can you see? That's the bottom half, but I've only glued the very bottom. Next, you need to put some glue just across the top of the bedspread. Okay? And once you've done that, you need to stick the top half so that the head is resting on the pillow. Oops, I'm getting stuck now. All right. Like so. So you've got somebody in bed fast asleep. Well, that somebody is Samuel. And do you remember I said to you he had his name being called out? So this is where the fun bit begins. Do you remember that little hole in the back? Look, watch what happens. Put your finger in the hole and you go, Samuel, Samuel. You put your finger up and he sits up out of bed. There you go. Did you call me? No, Samuel. Go back to bed. You take your finger out and he goes back to bed again. And then you can say, Samuel, Samuel. And he's all awake again. Yes, yes, I'm here. No, wasn't Eli that called him, was it? He went back to bed again. And the third time he heard his name, Samuel, Samuel. He got up, woke up in bed. But this time he knew it was God calling. There you go. Little Samuel popping up out of bed. Have fun this week. You take care and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.